All right, guys, welcome back to another lesson here. Um, we were going through what happens whenever uh, plants reproduce, and what happens is that the offspring end up inheriting one of these alleles, which is together we call it a gene, the gene for color, but which allele is going to get passed on to the next generation. It could be the pink or the white in both cases. And that's what we said with how can you get a white flower? Well, if you get the white allele from one parent and the white allele from the other parent, you can get a white flower. Now, what we want to look at today is what's the chances of that? What's the odds? And you could think about this a little bit, probably and figure it out that what's the chances of getting a pink or a white? Well, it's a 50% chance. Over here, what's the chances of getting a white? Well, there's a 50% chance. So I guess with percentages or odds, you multiply those. So the chance of getting a white is going to be 25%. Now, there's a way of figuring that out, and they call this a Punnett square. So let me advance here. And this is a Punnett square. And what you end up doing, let's just take an example, and I'll show you how this works. Let's say we have a blue and a red flower. Okay, capital blue or capital B stands for dominant. Lowercase r stands for recessive. So in this example, blue is going to be the dominant color, and we'll see how this works out. And you have parent one. We'll say it has heterozygous, has one capital B and a lowercase r. Parent two, the red flower, is going to have both recessive alleles, two lowercase. So what you want to do is first off, put over top of these boxes, put parent one at the top. So we'll put capital B and an R there to represent parent one. We're going to take parent two and put those down here on the side. So that's how you set this up. Sometimes people mess up and they'll put two letters above this box. Well, you got to space those out. And what we do, this Punnett Squares helps us to say, well, what if you get this blue, or what if you get this red? So what you end up doing is take this B and fill down into offspring one. There's a chance that it could get this blue allele. Okay. What if you get this red allele from parent two? So we bring that over into the box. Okay. In the next example, well, what if offspring three gets this blue and it gets this red here from this parent, the other red? Well, it would have a B and an R. In this box, we bring down the R to represent getting that allele from parent one, and we bring across this R to show that it got the R from parent two. So that's takes care of both R's. And then the last possibility is you could get this R and this R from each parent. It'd be RR. So in this example here, there's a 50% chance that you'll get red. This would be red and this would be red. And then these two would both be blue. So 50% chance of getting a blue flower versus a red flower. We could also say there's a ratio of 2 out of 4. Or I guess that would be 50%. No, ratio would be 2 flowers for every 2 flowers that are blue. And really it's 2 to 2, same thing as a 1 to 1 ratio. So different ways of summarizing what you got here. All right, let me give you another example, and you'll get some practice on this with the worksheet. But let's say we have two blue flowers, but they both have this red in there, kind of hidden. It's a recessive red. So let's see how this works. All right. Well, we want to start off as bringing one of the parents over to this spot. So we'll put the blue there, and we'll bring the red down to here. Let's take this parent and bring the blue down, and then we'll bring the red down. So now we've got this set up. Okay. And what you do is bring this blue into the box, and you bring across the allele from that parent. And you can do whatever order you want. But I like to bring this side down, so bring blue down, bring the red across, so that would be BR. Okay, in this we're going to bring the red down, the blue across, and the red down, so we'll get BR. And in this box, we'll bring the red down and the red across, so it's going to be R. So now, from two blue flowers, can you get a red flower? Yeah, you can. And that would be in this box here. You get two of the recessive red, and that ends up being a red flower. The others, all three, would be blue. So this would be a 3-to-1 ratio, or you could say 75% are blue and 25% are red. So that would be a lot like, let's see if I can go back. We're going to have to go way back here and remove all these. That would be a lot like this example where you get a white flower out of pink flowers, and it's only a 25%. So these Punnett squares help you to set that up and give you the odds, and they make it easy. So hopefully you guys see how that works. Let me quickly go back through this. All right. Now, a few other words here I'll throw in at you. And first off, we've got what a genotype is. So the genotype is actually what letters do you have here? What is the gene? I guess if we literally looked at this, the type of gene, well, that would be heterozygous, because they're different. And one is pink, one is white. So the genotype would be PW. The phenotype is what it looks like, so the appearance of it. So if I gave you this example, said what's the phenotype of this individual, don't say PW, that's the genotype. But the phenotype would be pink or purple, whatever color you think that is. So as an example, look at these chickens. I don't know why, good example of chickens. But the phenotype would be, this is a white chicken, that's the phenotype. Well, what's the genotype? Well, it's a WW. That's what the genotype is, what the gene would appear to be. So the phenotype of this chicken is black. Genotype would be the genes it has. And then you also can have a speckled chicken. We'll talk about this example later. This is kind of a strange one. It's called codominance. All right. I'm going to simulate a question here. And a dominant allele. Well, you know what that means. Go ahead and answer this for you. And it was, dominant allele is stronger. And it's saying 7, and you got that wrong. Getting this simulated data, I wanted to see what it would do here. And you can see who actually got that right and got that wrong. I don't know why it picked on some of you that would miss that. If there's any pattern to this, All right, try this one. In order for a recessive allele to show through, how many recessive alleles must be present? So in our example, the white flower, you have to have one white allele to get a white flower, or do you have to have two white alleles to get a white flower? And it's recessive. So in this example, yeah, computer thinks a lot of you would miss that. So it's saying, but you got to have two in order for that to be true. So sorry for Ava, Alyssa, and Connor. Computer thinks you missed that. So it's kind of interesting. All right, we go just to show you in this example, if you have only one recessive allele, it gets covered up by the dominant. You have to have both whites to get a white flower, and that was the answer to that question. All right, go ahead, try the practice worksheet. I'll upload that for you and give it a shot, and then we'll go over that later.